New D&D players struggle with writing backstories for their characters, which is why I always give out this one tip that I think makes backstories 10 times better. And that tip is, write character concepts and not events. Let me see if you recognize this pattern. You are writing a character backstory and you're centering it around an event. Maybe your parents died, maybe you're looking for an item, an artifact, whatever. This can lead to problems when you are going down a longer campaign. Because for me, as a DM, if you're wanting me to incorporate like something from that character's backstory into the campaign, I'm almost shoehorned into having it relate to that particular event. And we got two problems here. The first option is that you just handle whatever the event in your character's backstory is in a normal amount of time. But when that event is solved, your backstory has run out of fuel. That big driving force that you've written in for your character is not really there. Or two, I artificially extend the length of that backstory event so that it gets solved close to the end of the campaign. But for large portions of the campaign, you are just going to be hopping from one point to another, not really making much progress on the event. Obviously, you can write backstories using events as their basis, but you run into these problems. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I encourage players writing their backstories off of concepts. Like a concept being, what would happen if I took a character and made it so that they could not feel, let's say, joy? How could I roleplay that character? How could I interact with them throughout 20 levels potentially of a campaign? Maybe I want to play a warlock that is indebted to an evil patron, but they're lawful good, and I want to explore that dynamic, that concept. Because as a DM, when I see concepts in your backstory, I can more easily play with those. Like, let's take the lawful good warlock and their chaotic evil patron. I'm going to be putting situations down, moral dilemmas, where the warlock's going to have to choose between appeasing their patron or doing what they know is morally right. And you know what? I as a DM can play off that dynamic, and you as a player can play off that dynamic for far longer than if you just wrote events. And you know what? Here's the secret sauce. When you mix both backstory writing methods, create a character that has both events and concepts in it, so that then after you mix everything together, that character has like hard, concrete things that you can accomplish and that your DM can use, but also these concepts, so that when you're not handling your events within your backstory, your DM can still interact with it because there are concepts littered throughout the backstory. Basically, just remember that putting concepts in your backstory is 10 times more powerful than an event. And if you want more tips like this, may I suggest this video right here, and thank you for entering the dungeon.